Go. All right. Good morning, High Vibe Tribe. Today is our monthly Online Marketing Mastermind week, where we invite all of our members to come on in with questions about marketing their businesses, and hoping that all of us have some valuable insights to provide on those questions. And topics that we're going to stay away from today are how to grow your followers on social media. That's really the crux of Lori's presentation next week, right? So we're going to stay away from growing a following, but let's say everything else is fair game. So ideas about what would be fair game would be developing a class, marketing a class, search strategies, how to get found online, how to market yourself on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to paid strategies. I'm trying to think what else we could talk about. Design, whatever. Oh, good morning, Penny Kroll.
I logged in on my friend's
account. How you doing,
account.
Penny? Good to see you.
I know, right? I'm running a course
for my You can be Penny friend. Today. I don't mind.
Right. Okay, I'll stay here.
Penny for your thoughts there, honey buns.
Right.
All right. So let's start off with introductions and who you are, what you do, where you live, and what topic you would like to talk about today. So we can at least start planting some seeds and getting ideas. So I'll begin. My name is Liz Garcia. I'm founder of this online meetup group, the High Vibe Tribe, as well as the MindBodySpiritNetwork.com and the AthenaArena.com. And I just wanted to put a little plug in today about the MindBodySpiritNetwork.com. What is it? Why does it matter? What's the big deal? So the Mind Body Spirit Network is a online business directory and a kind of sophisticated content marketing strategy for mind, body, spirit, health, and coach types of individuals. And this is like a starter kit for most practitioners because people do it themselves. Websites that don't look so great, they have no branding awareness, they absolutely have no search awareness and how to go about creating a content marketing strategy. But more importantly, a directory is a very powerful search tool. And I recognized that when I first started doing websites and putting my clients into directories. I'm like, oh my God, I need to do this. Because reason being, most people won't do anything to keep up with their website once it goes live. It's like, it's dead in the water. No blogging, nothing. I'm like, all right, that's a problem. And I don't want to people spend a lot of money on a new website and then have it go dead because they're not doing anything. So in this strategy, there's always content going on, whether you write or not. So, and having a listing in a directory almost guarantees consistent page one Google search results over your own website, just because of the nature of directories, and I know how to format the whole community for SEO, so it serves everybody. I take my expertise to serve the whole, which is the beautiful thing. So that's my quickie plug on the Mind Body Spirit Network, in case anybody was wondering what it was. So, Cheryl, how about you? You're up. Unmute yourself, though.
Thank you, Buttercup.
I love to say that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Murphy. I'm located north of the Los Angeles area. I am a clairvoyant, psychic, and medium. And in my work, in my mediumship work, I do help connect you with your loved ones who have crossed over to prove to you that there is life after death, or to show you that our loved ones are there to support us through providing validation, evidential information. And also in my psychic work, I help you with intuitive life coaching, whether you're at a crossroads in your life or maybe you just need help developing your own intuition. So we all have that ability. So that's what I'm here to help support you on your path. Thank you.
And do you have any topics of interest today, Cheryl?
My topics of interest are really just about using your email list to help promote you. So how vital that email list is.
Okay, good thing. I was just thinking that topic as you spoke. I'm like, I have something to share on that. So cool. Good. Lynn. Shushla.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I just want to say how happy it makes me when I look at my calendar on Tuesday and it has an entry that says High Vibe Tribe.
Oh,
like,
yay.
That's just like, I go, look,
Yay.
I get to go hang out with all these fabulous people.
Thank
It's
you.
so great.
We love seeing you every week too, Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you. So my name's Lynn Schusler Williams. I am a speaker, coach, author. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I also am an executive and work with a company called Legal Shield. We do legal services and ID Shield, identity theft protection and restoration services. And I particularly work on both sides of my business, speaker, coach, author, and Legal Shield, with solopreneurs and people who they are their whole business and how to protect and empower. So that's me.
Nice. And do you have any topics of interest today, Lynn?
So I've been doing some offline marketing lately. I have some events locally and some events online. So I'm really interested in things around events. How do we promote events? What's some of the best practices around online and offline events?
Cool.
Yeah.
I've been kind of noticing what's going on there too, Lynn. So hopefully I can provide some insights, and if anyone else does, Lori does a lot of events. So I'm sure Lori can chime in on that as well.
Good.
Right.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Bigger. Oh, unmute yourself.
There we go. Hi, I'm Liz Baker, and I'm the owner of Butterfly Healing and Wellness. And I help people transform through healing, through the mind, body, spirit. And whether that be aches and pains, helping them get rid of those, or moving through obstacles or transitions in their lives, as well as raising consciousness and spiritual awakenings. So, and I am in Stafford, Virginia, and I'm a Reiki master. I also use crystal Reiki and other healing modalities in my practice. And as far as what I want to do today, talk about, pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, you said we're not going to talk about.
Oh,
so
because you got to come next week.
Yeah, definitely will. But the two that have been mentioned, those are good for me. So I'm going to be fine.
All right. So I'm just going to make a note. So Cheryl was email and Lynn is event promotion. Okay. All right. Penny, you're up, Penny. Unmute yourself, please. John, I'm talking to you.
I was like, who's Penny? Is it the iPhone one? I didn't know. Yeah, so my name isn't Penny Kroll. It's John Robson. So yeah, I'm teaching a course, an evening thing with Lisbeth Lundgaard on Wednesday night. But we're teaching it for my friend Penny. Because she's away in Mexico. She does like a monthly meetup call.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Mental health practitioners.
Right.
So I just tested it yesterday to make sure I could log in, and I had her login details for Zoom.
Oh,
and then I obviously
no worries.
So
all right.
I clicked your link.
Tell us a little about yourself, John, and what you are interested in discussing in the mastermind this week, if anything you have in mind.
Cool, for sure. So yeah, I've been in the health and healing field since 2002. I've been working more specifically with transformational healing, teaching people about the mind-body connection since 2008. I've had Meta Medicine USA that Liz helped me to establish in the US, but I'm now back in the UK. So I work with people one-to-one that are suffering serious chronic illness, MS, ME, significant pain, anxiety, depression, the whole gamut really. I work with lots of different clients with lots of different things. And I I teach others how to do the work and how to do mind-body healing. And I mentor them in becoming better practitioners. I created the Insight method, which is a transformational healing method that I created from an integration of a number of different things that I'd learned that I now use solely in my healing practice, which is really cool. And yeah, so the main thing I wanted to go through today, I've done a lot of launches, and I've done a lot of sort of building of networks and sort of communities and stuff. I'm not the greatest at it. I pull away from things a lot because
you've got other strengths there, mister, so you don't have to. No
Right.
Apologies.
Okay, cool. So one of the things I've got right now is because I'm rebranding and everything. I've got a rebrand back in the UK, which I'm doing under my own name. But it's about how to get those people that were on all my various different lists onto this one, so it can align with the GDPR and all that.
So how to get everyone on board with the move and the change, essentially.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. And then supporting the people that I mentor in getting launching and building businesses that would transform.
Okay. All right. So just FYI, everyone else that's here, I've worked with John Robeson in the past I've had some really traumatic events in my life, like nutty stuff. And John took me through his process that was like so eye-opening, like holy crow. And it was an awesome process. So if you ever need any healing, he's super healer, this one. And really professional and grounded in what he's doing, and it's good stuff. So just FYI. And call him Penny.
Right, that's it. I have a picture of me in a dress.
Awesome.
It was my friend's birthday a few years back, and so we put dresses on and did a whole load of stuff for her. But I'll have to share it.
Yes, like post it in the group or something, John. And so John is a partner with Lisbeth Lundgaard, who most of you know as another member, a regular member of this online meetup group. So it's nice that they're working together, and I admire both of them. All right, Lori Buchanan.
Hi, I'm Lori Buchanan, coming to you from beautiful Boise. I am a holistic health practitioner, a transformational life coach, and author of The Business of Being and Note to Self. I help people close the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And today I'd like to talk about, I have my ideas on it. I want to hear other people's ideas on creating not just content, creating relevant content.
Relevant content. All righty. I'm doing a lot of content creation right now, and it's kind of fun. All right. So iPhone user, we don't have your name. Would you like to introduce yourself and say hello? Or you're not?
I'm trying.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. I've never done this before, but my name is Karen Holman, and my business is Black Hawk Healing Arts, and I'm out of Hudson, Iowa. And I'm a massage therapist, and basically I practice healing touch.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
And what's your name?
Karen Holman.
Karen.
Yes.
How do you spell that?
Like Karen.
Okay, but you say it Karen.
Right. It's Danish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
out of Iowa. Where's Princeton, Iowa?
Hudson, Iowa.
I'm sorry, Hudson.
Right. It's off of 10 miles south of Waterloo, which is a great big John Deere plant there.
Yeah.
Tractors. And then 10 miles south of Cedar Falls, Iowa, where the University of Northern Iowa is.
You are in corn country, woman.
Yep, exactly. And there's a big harvesting going on right now.
Wow. The corn is as high as the elephant's eye.
So what I'm interested in, marketing, but especially holiday special.
Oh, okay.
You know, since Christmas isn't too far away.
Yes, holiday specials. That sounds good.
Yes.
Sean Murphy has some good experience in that realm, as I recall. Yeah. All right, Karen. Cool. All right.
Hi. Whoever said hi to me.
Oh, everyone's saying hello to you, Karen. Thanks for joining us. All the way from corn country, Iowa.
Woo.
Woohoo. All right. Isn't it the Iowa Buckeyes? No, that's Ohio. Wait. What's the big team?
Hawkeye.
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 Right.
Iowa City.
Okay. And you're a Black Hawk. What's healing, right? Did you say Black Hawk
Black
healing?
Hawk. Yes, Black Hawk Healing Arts.
Okay.
I'm located in Black Hawk County, and I'm next to Black Hawk Creek.
Okay.
That's how I arrived at that name.
Okay. All right. So let's start with email marketing. Cheryl, do you want to ask a very specific question, or do you have a very specific question, or you just want to talk about email marketing in general?
I think just in general, you know, I'm trying to send out 1 or 2 emails a week, you know, to my mailing list, and, you know, like what, you know, and maybe talk about different things, like what should be included in my email, or how to get them to know me better, I guess, you know, that's maybe what I'm wanting to know is how do I get
So it's about creating relevant content. We can do 2 birds here. Creating relevant content. Anyone have some ideas for Cheryl? You want to chat, John?
Yeah, so I'm on this. I'm on Jeff Walker's PLF program, Launch Club, I've been on for a year now. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, went to his LaunchCon thing and kind of anyway. But it's got a lot of really good materials in there actually, and really good stuff about how to build good tribes and community. And it's expensive, you know what I mean. And you have to really work hard to get the value out of it. But just coming off the back of my first successful launch, applying the principles. So I know that in 2019 I'm going to make my money back and a lot more. But anyways, what he sort of talks about, because a big part of it is about how to sort of know your avatar more deeply, and the deeper you can know your avatar and what their needs and requirements are. Does everyone know the term of avatar?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, looks like everyone knows. Yeah.
So yeah, the more you can know your client and what they're asking for, the better. What he suggests is, in terms of a lot of your sort of like nurture campaigns, email marketing nurture campaigns, which are like your autoresponder sequences that you would set up in emails and stuff. And just for anyone who doesn't know, you kind of cover kind of 4 things really. You cycle back around 4 main things. So you think about what are your avatars' greatest fears? Like what keeps them up at night? What are their objections, their challenges? What are their dreams and desires, or hopes and dreams, I think. And then there's another one, but it's not coming to me right now. But you kind of list their top 3 of all of these things, and then you keep kind of cycling back around them, really. If you have like 12 major issues that you focus on every month, then you just cycle back around them with more detail, different stories, different refinements, and that really helps. And then in terms of finding out what to provide them, ask, as Ryan Levesque talks about with his whole ask method. You know, it's like ask what is it that they need, what is it that they're wanting, because usually it's nothing like you think. And you can
That's always seemed to be the truth.
Right.
I think I know it all, but it proving not all the time.
Right. And it's the same, you know, we think, oh yeah, this program, I've had a few amazing failures in launching, because it was like, you know, I had a feeling that this program was going to be exactly what they needed, and I know it's what they need, but it's not what they want. It's about listening to the language that they use from surveys, and your long form responses to surveys are better than your short answers, and you really pick up their language and you use that language to then communicate to them, and kind of like the principles that Gary Vaynerchuk sort of does. It's like that jab, 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 right hook sort of principle. So you give before asking for the sale, but it's using their language and based on exactly what they want and being flexible to adapt whatever it is that you have to what they want.
So I don't think it's a bad idea. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, Cheryl, as an example, to do like a quarterly survey and use SurveyMonkey. Super simple to use. SurveyMonkey.com. You create a survey, you send the link in your email. Of course, you got to get people to respond. And I found surveys on Facebook have been pretty, especially in your Healing Prayer Circle, Cheryl, to do you have a big audience there and they're very responsive. It could be a nice idea to test out a survey there to see what type of response you get. But in regards to your, like trying to get people to respond via email, because you have a big list too, I think some type of incentive, I don't know what that would be, to get people to respond to a survey. Lori?
When Cheryl asked her question, she said something about 1 or 2 times a week with an email, and I would be extraordinarily cautious with that. The reason I open Liz's is because she has something I want. She has a link to this meeting. So I'm not at all bothered when I get one the day before and one the morning of. And it's very relevant because it contains something I want. If somebody sends me a weekly email, I'm going to feel stalked unless there's something that's extraordinarily relevant that I want. Remember, and I'll say this next week, Marketing 101. People want what they can't have. If you're constantly sending an email, they become numb to it. I'll delete it or I will unsubscribe. If you use MailChimp, I use MailChimp, you can check the stats, and it says that basically 20-something% of the time, 20% of the people will open your email. You can look to see. I have an 87% opening rate because I do one a quarter.
Oh.
I don't want to stalk anybody 4 times a year. Now, they're very powerful when they come out, but 4 times a year. So I would be very cautious unless you have something extraordinarily relevant. I need that link from Liz. That's very relevant for me to get here. If I just got one a week from somebody that was blah, 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 white noise, I'd be numb and I would unsubscribe.
So there's certainly a lot of perspectives on that too, Cheryl, and maybe it's because I'm a marketer. Like I'll opt into some lists that I won't read all the time, and I'll get something once a week or more. But I don't unsubscribe because I still care about what they're providing, and when something crosses my desk that's of interest to me, I'm gonna opt in. So there's something interesting on MailChimp that I haven't really explored deeply, but they keep throwing it at me like, hey, use tags, use tags, use tags. So they have this audience segmenter now that I never noticed before. And they're creating a segment that would say, like, this person is a frequent buyer. This is someone who's been inactive for a while. This is someone who's active. So you can kind of segment it. But you have to go and tag everyone as to their status, but it was kind of interesting to see that. Have you used that functionality, Lori?
No, my list is way too big. I've been reading it too. That would take me weeks. I've got like.
Oh, I know. Unless MailChimp has data that recognizes based on who's opening, that's possible. It could be based on active openers. So if some of those people, that may be one of the options. I'm not sure. I'll have to look again. But let's say you send out an email and then you segment it and say, only send to my active openers. And that way you're not doing what Lori's talking about, sending it to people who are going to go numb to you. And then, so I recommend a schedule, like to make a plan. Lori's made a plan. She's going to do it once a quarter. I think you could probably do more, Cheryl, because you have some interesting topics like John was talking about, pain points like grief and sorrow, helping, if someone on your list is dealing with the loss of a loved one, or they have someone they know who's dealing with the loss of a loved one, your services are so healing that I think you should keep that in front, because that's happening all the time, and it's going to come across some, maybe you do that once a month. You talk about loss of a loved one. Are you talking about making a major life decision? There's some of those key topics that you cover that are universal that are not needed every day, but it's going to come across the plate of someone when it's needed. So, there's different opinions on how often to email, and like digital marketer emails 5 times a week, 5. And for me, it's a lot to consume, but I don't mind it because some stuff comes across my plate I want to read. So you're going to have to just play with it. Like, I don't mind that I get 1 or 2 emails a week from you, Cheryl, because, well, of course, that I have personal connection. That may be the reason. But if I'm subscribing to someone, if I get tired of it, I'll unsubscribe because I know where they are. Like, if I need to see them again, I'll go find them. So you got to decide. You are an intuitive spiritual medium. I think you could probably ask spirit, like, what is the optimal? What serves the highest good of my audience to hear from me? What's the optimal number of emails to send in a month? And then you'll get your door will say, 2 or 4 or 6 or 8, right? When your yes, no door thing or whatever you do, get the answer there, get a little guidance on that. So whatever the quantity is, and if you guys know how to do pendulums, Liz Bigger does. Liz Bigger helped me with some pendulum work. Like, when your intention is to serve the highest good, get some answers. Like, let's see what the highest good is. That could be I'm all about muscle testing and knowing where power is and what's true. So if you have someone who can do muscle testing with you, that's good too. But Liz Bigger was helpful for me in doing some pendulum work to get answers, because you don't know what the collective consciousness answer, because the consciousness knows who your crowd is and what they're going to respond to, what serves them best. So you got some good tools, Cheryl. Use them. Right? All right. I do want to talk about some email marketing stuff real quickly, because I'm in the middle of a campaign right now, a Facebook ad campaign to get visibility for my Athena Arena and my brand builder boot camps and personal branding stuff. And, I have an email autoresponder series for that. And I'm watching it like a hawk every week right now, because I want to watch the open rates. I want to watch the click-through rates. I want to pay attention to what people are responding to. And my attention to that, first, I change one thing. I'll change the subject line it's performing weekly. I'm like, all right, let's test it, change the subject line. So I'm changing the subject line, and I wait a week, and now I see the rates going up, or it's staying the same, it's going down. It's like, okay, that's interesting. And then I'm using images in some of these emails, and some of the emails were low click-through rates. Some of the images were not. They were a video and no one's clicking through. I'm like, oh, okay, let's change the the picture. So I changed the picture to a picture of me. And now the click-through rates have gone up significantly. So I'm like, okay. So if you're doing any type of autoresponder series, and I know Liz is just starting one now, Cheryl, you have some in place, go take a look at the campaign, and you're gonna open up that automation series, and it's gonna show you click-through rates and open rates on every single email. And if you can go in and tweak it, and make sure you write down, I have a spreadsheet going now that's telling me, okay, this is what the subject line was, this was the open rate, this was the click-through rate, this is the new subject line, and I date it. All right, now this is the new one. Here's the open rate, has gone up, gone down. On some of them it's even or has gone down a little. So it's kind of interesting to watch and figure out what's the king combo. And then inside that click-through rate, what can you do in a call to action to get people to move? That's the inside of the email. There's got to be some call to action. If you want them to click somewhere, I've got click-through rates that were like 1.2, and now they bumped up to 5.6 because I put a picture of me in it with a video. So just interesting. In the past, I've found pictures of me or some of my other clients tend to get a higher click-through rate than stock photos, as an example. So just FYI. So pay attention to those emails, Cheryl. Go through if you click on your campaign button in MailChimp, you're going to see all of your campaigns, and you'll look at open rates, click-through rates. Look for ones that really did well, because you can just scan it like, whoa, there's a high open rate. What the heck was going on there? Go look at the subject line. Remember, the open rate is based on the subject line. Why do they open it? And use that subject line again. Here's an email with a high click-through rate. What was going on there? Go look in it. What was the call to action? What made them click through? Use it. Use it again. Like, just recycle stuff, because, you know, you can recycle emails for sure. Who the hell remembers any emails? There's so much, like, you wouldn't remember it. So feel free to do it over again. All right, any more input on email marketing stuff? And just, you know, just make a simple calendar, Cheryl. Like one a week for you is enough. And maybe it's not. Do a little testing, see what you get feedback on. Make a calendar that's easy, and, like, you know, John was saying, recycle through the topics. Like, once a quarter, you're going to talk about, have 4 main topics. You would be like grief, you know, loss of a loved one. Big decisions would be another one, I think. Talking to your spirit guides, that's huge. People love that. People want to know about their spirit guides and guardian angels. And whatever the 4th one is, I can't think of at the top of my head, but, you know, physical stuff, physical ailments, like what's going on physically with me. Those are big topics for you based on the search I've done in the past for you. And I think that's a great starting point for a calendar. And then some type of quarterly offer, you know, a quarterly offer to get people to try a reading or whatever, or try a class or whatever. You have a lot to offer, so there's plenty of content. So on the same kind of topic, Lori was talking about relevant content. So comes back to what John was talking about, knowing your avatar, knowing what the pain is. And I love coming back to the pain points, which is, I mean, Cheryl, what we're talking about is really problems that need solutions, but what's the pain point that you're addressing? Like, I love this in story branding. A story branding outline, which I discussed in my last webinar, is people, what's the tragedy if they don't call you, right? What's the tragic ending if they don't engage with you in the services that you provide? What's everybody's tragic ending? I love that the psychology is people are more averse to the tragic ending than they are to the upside, which is weird, you know. You know, people want to be hugely successful, but they're more averse to, like, yeah, I want that, but I'm more averse to the tragic ending than I am to the ups. You know, they focus on the negative, which is, you know.
Yeah, people are more away from motivated than towards inspired, as a sort of NLP term.
Say that again, John.
So people are more away from motivated than they are towards inspired. So they move away from pain as a more biological response because it impacts more the amygdala than they are towards pleasure.
Okay.
Or towards inspiration, because that's more of a prefrontal cortex, and so it's more of an evolved sort of conscious mind that would sort of towards. But most people are still living from the sort of amygdala.
Yeah, which you, I'm sure, deal with a lot of this understanding, John. Thank you. Yeah. So what's the tragic ending? You can, you know, I hate to use that, but when you use it, it's kind of like, well, this is the fact of the matter. So my tragic ending in not having a personal brand, as an example, is you got to go get a job. Give up what you love to do. You got to go get a job. That's my tragic ending. You're on a path to really fulfilling your life's purpose and passion, but you haven't put a stake in the ground. You're going to end up having to get a job. That's just an example of a tragic ending. What do you want your ending for your clients to be? So anyway, you could tell stories around each one of those topics. The tragic ending for not getting help with grief and loss is that you will continue to suffer grief and loss as opposed to get relief, right? Do you want to continue to suffer from the grief and loss of a loved one as opposed to having a different perspective from the loved one who's passing, you know what? I'm here with you. I love you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's the point I'm making is you can tell a story about the relief people get from assurance. It's an assurance. It's a connection. It's like, yeah. So relevant content, Lori.
Like you're saying there, Liz, that's it. You can always frame it in the positive. So even though it's an away from, which you could sort of touch on, it can always be toward sort of framed in the positive if you like. Like we don't, you know, in the marketing, something like, you know, you don't have to carry around the loss and the pain and the bag of all of that emotion that you carry, because I know what you know, most of my clients, I know what you're truly hoping for is a reconnection with that you love. And so that's what I'm offering here, is a reconnection with that you love, because all of the rest that you're carrying is unnecessary. So although it's an away from, when you're touching on that, it's a towards, because you're sort of bringing in that in as well.
Nice. I'm recording this, by the way, Cheryl. John just made some good points there. Very good. Okay, so let's talk about, we'll wrap back around to Lori and relevant content in a second. Let's talk about event promotion. So Lynn, do you want to use digital marketing or digital online stuff for promoting live events, or what are you trying to do?
Yeah, so I mostly today have used Facebook events, Facebook groups, and Meetup.com for
Cool.
the live promotion. So those are my, and I don't use email marketing much at all, mostly because I don't like email. Like, I hand people my business card and say, text me. And if you have to email me, okay, but don't expect me to get back to you, you know, like this week. So I really dislike email. So I'm just over it. Like, there's just too much. And so I haven't used email marketing for my events much at all. And I realize that that's like probably dumb, but it is what it is. So I've done a lot of
dumb, but...
well, it's stubborn at the very least. Okay. I'm just admitting to how stubborn it is. Yeah. It's also a lot of work. And I'm super busy. So I'm not entirely sure it's Liz,
I know. Good, nice.
That's so great. Thank you for admitting that I'm not the only one. So so just Facebook events, Meetup.com, and Facebook groups. And I've been juggling a little bit. For instance, what just came up, I've been doing this series of women's empowerment events. And I created a Facebook group for them because there were people who wanted to come multiple things, and I needed a place for them to easily, you know, be attracted and find the next event and all of that, right? And these are all local so far. And at the same time, I had 2 people in the community come to me and say, we'd like to help you by sponsoring one of these events. So now all of a sudden, I'm not the only one. I have a different venue and a food sponsor who are outside of me. And they want to be able to invite to the Facebook event. So I didn't create it in the group, because then only the people in the group could see it. So so here I had just launched this group and just launched putting all the events in the group. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to do this event outside the group. So it just kind of feels messy. Like,
yes.
I don't know.
Well, let me just mention, you know, when I was in Denver, I belonged to a few meetup groups, and I responded big time to the meetup group leaders that used email through Meetup. I responded to that, and I kept it open because I knew there was always stuff going on. So, and this particular group leader also did her own, through her own email, like MailChimp or whatever. She emailed me messages about events. I mean, I think it's a missed opportunity to not take advantage of emailing people, even though you don't, I mean, it's super easy, Lynn, to copy and paste email events into an email. Like write up a really killer one, like you're invited, here's the next event. And boom, that's what I do. I copy and paste a lot of stuff. So it's simple. I keep it as simple as possible. And if you use MailChimp, or what are you using for email?
Get response when I use it. I mean, I have it, but I don't use it.
So presumably in all emails, you can duplicate an email that's already been done, duplicate it, go in, edit it, change the date. Of course, you got to remember to do that, right, Lori? I copy and paste and I forget to change the date. I'm like, whoopsies. Lori had to say, hey, fix that, will you please? So start something simple like that. Start using the email, Lynn, because Lori even said it today. She said it out loud. I look forward to those relevant emails on the events. I too look for relevant emails on events that I'm a part of. You know, I look forward to Cheryl Murphy's, like, when's her next healing prayer circle? I think those are highly relevant. If someone is on board with this, email them. Because not everyone's staying on social media. Like, I can keep up with everyone talking to me everywhere. I'm like, okay, where are you coming from? I've got LinkedIn, I'm like, ooh, I can't keep up. So,
right. I think I hear that a lot too, Liz. So I really appreciate you saying that. And I think also I could do a web form through Get Response and put it in the Facebook group and just say to everybody in the Facebook group, sign up for the emails so that you would know you don't miss something.
Yes.
And feed the email list that way too, right?
Yeah. Yes. You want to build your list. I mean, every digital marketer is going to tell you that email list is your biggest asset.
I know.
Huge. Like, I think most email marketers say 80% of their sales come through email, not through social media stuff. That's the stats on it. You know, you got to test it for yourself. But I boosted my personal branding webinar a couple of weeks ago. And there was a fair amount of interaction. Like, I don't know, I think 40 people responded to it. I'm not quite sure how the boosting of an event works. I don't know if anyone else has done it. But no one new show up. However, I think if I did it more often and the visibility grew, then that's a different thing. You know, you can't just show up into people that don't know me, because I targeted people that don't know me that were interested in branding that don't know me. So that most likely has something to do with that. So it's cheap enough to boost something, especially local, Lynn. You can totally get really, really close and targeted. And just to get a presence, have a visibility presence in your local area for someone who is bringing women together. Women empowerment is huge. And
people are just showing up in droves for these events, and the similar events that weren't the women's empowerment theme, you know, like just blowing out of the water the difference in the attendance rates. And so now I'm taking those events and moving them to Zoom as well.
Oh, good.
So that I can reach nationally and internationally. And so that's
Have you done that yet?
I'm sorry.
Have you done that yet?
No.
I want to come.
Yeah, I want you to come. It'll be so fun to have some folks that I know and have the high vibe tribe there. I would love that. So yeah, it's these are interesting events, and I'm just having so much fun with them. But now I've gotten the local going, and now it's like I want to move it to the Zoom. And I do a daily Zoom for Legal Shield nationally. And so this will be something different. And, you know, I have to make that mental shift for me too, right? It's like,
it's a different,
like, oh, here we are over here. Now we're over here. What are we doing? You know, it's all of that for me too.
So just FYI, first of all, I love your logo, Uprising. What's it called?
Uprising. Yeah. Unstoppable, powerful women.
Yes. Okay.
Rising.
First of all, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I think that building visibility locally with that powerful kind of statement of who you are is huge. And to advertise on Eventbrite too, are you using Eventbrite to?
Well, so there's a whole thing. Yes, I use Eventbrite. And then I go back and forth. So I had started using Eventbrite for those Zooms that I do for Legal Shield for this huge group of national people, because honestly, a daily Zoom, even a short daily Zoom, is a lot of energy output. And I wasn't willing to show up and do it unless there were people there. So
Right.
I said, you guys go register on Eventbrite so I'll know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
And I'll do it for 2 people. Like, this is not divahood or something. It's just about managing my energy. Well, I got so much pushback about the extra step of registering for Eventbrite. And everybody just wants to show up to the Zoom, and everybody wants to just invite people by sharing a Zoom link. And they were getting pushback from guests who had, didn't understand how to register. And the Eventbrite email puts the Zoom link at the bottom of the email, and people were missing it. And so I finally just did away with Eventbrite for the Zooms because I got so much pushback.
So Eventbrite, I would recommend for local use, especially, this is where I can help you, Lynn. Not to plug myself, but I'm just saying, event stuff on Facebook and Eventbrite and Alignable, if you're using Alignable, it's all search driven. And I know just in the history of searches I've done, just an example, women empowering women is a huge search volume keyword phrase. And you want to use keyword phrases that on Eventbrite, they're going to show up on searches, especially local. Facebook too. It doesn't have to be so search driven on Facebook because you're already targeting local women in business or whatever. You're getting really fine tuned. But I think it's a good strategy for visibility purposes to do some Facebook, which they're going to share it on Instagram too. That event that you're doing, I love that, and it's cheap. I mean, it's cheap to start building visibility there.
Right.
So anyone else want to have, Laura, you've done a lot of events. Do you want to chime in here?
You made a good point distinguishing between local and other. Even though I live in Boise, the bulk of my events are in the greater Chicagoland area. And I let people know about those through my once quarterly, because I already have, if you were to see my board up here, sort of like John's in the back, his dry erase board, I have January through December of next year, so I know where I'm going to be speaking. And so I will promote something via email 6 months in advance. And somebody had asked about a package. So I'm going to be at Sulphur Prairies in Woodstock in June. I'm telling people about it now in case that's what they want for their Christmas gift, because it's going to cost some money. So people can start thinking about that now, ask for that as a gift or for a portion of the payment for that as a gift. So events are huge. And Lynn, you brought up a point too. You don't want to show up to an event that nobody else shows up to. It's an expenditure of energy. So you need to get your traction and know, oh, I've got 10 people, I've got 50 people, I've got 1,000 people.
Right.
Yes. But I would tout it carefully, make sure that it's extraordinarily relevant to your audience. And we'll be talking next week about knowing your audience, because you don't want to say, I'm just totally making this up. Foo to somebody who's business. You're going to lose them if it's fluffy and foo-foo. And the other way around, somebody who's foo-foo, real fluffy, who's soft, doesn't want that bleeding edge, cutting edge, business. So you need to know your audience and send them, spoon feed them. So those segments, Liz, that you were talking about, so that you can distinguish between, okay, this is a hard hitter, bam, they get this. This is somebody who's very, very soft, very, very delicate, whatever, they get this. I would spoon feed my audience rather carefully.
Mm-hmm. That's good, Lori. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions there, Lynn? Did you get what you needed?
Just on that, I love that idea. Thank you very much. It's just whenever I'm thinking, because I've never really been doing this time of the year is always like, oh shoot, do I do another launch, or like, do I not do another launch because people are saving money for Christmas and this and that? And it was like, that idea there was great, because it's like, I've got this coming up in the new year that you can get for somebody, or ask for a little bit towards for yourself. That's awesome. That's gold right there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Liz, too, thank you for the feedback on Uprising, because so there are other women in a women's initiative that I'm a part of who are doing these events with similar materials, but everybody has their own take on it. Everybody has their own theme, their own brand around it, whatever. And I got a little pushback about Uprising.
Why?
And because somebody thought it was in today's political climate, they thought they thought it was related to that. And I said, really, because it's unstoppable, powerful women rising to their greatness, which is exactly what the initiative is all about. And so, I don't worry about that, because I know my people, and my people
get it.
think Uprising is, like they had that reaction. And so that helped me so much just then when you said that, and what Lori said too about know your people, right? My people don't want fluff, and they don't want, like I'm in this Facebook group with this group of women who are all doing these events with different approaches, and they're all, yeah, it's just like, oh, wow. So you're doing this for people who are not my people. And that's okay. Like, you go do it that way, and I'll go do it this way. And so that's just good to hear. So thank you.
Just a little, I always love to share my studies of consciousness. I'm a consciousness truth trumpeting junkie. So anyway, Dr. Hawkins talks about levels of consciousness. And he talks about how people perceive the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the level of consciousness. So as an example, I'm coming from a different level of consciousness in regards to your Uprising, unstoppable, powerful women. I'm like, awesome, love it. Someone else is coming from a different level of consciousness because their focus is on negativity somewhere. Their attention is on something that you don't want. I don't want. I have no interest in it. You don't want to deal with resistance. Resistance is all resistance. It's downward pulling. There's no fun there. There's no energy there. There's no consciousness there. I happen to know, just as a student of all that, I'm like, I'm not getting involved in any resistance. Neutral is where there's power. Be neutral about it all. This way, be the Buddha on all positionalities. Just like, you know what? Oh, Hawkins, who's that? Shiva, the dancer, Shiva, right? She's like,
with the arms.
Is it this way or is it that way? No, just neutral. So anyway, just a little tip that if someone is perceiving you negatively, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has to do with where they're coming from and what they're exposing their consciousness to. So,
right.
Yeah, stick with the unstoppable.
It was really interesting. I had this comment on a post that said, oh, I don't think Uprising is appropriate and blah, blah, blah. And I just ignored it. I liked it because I didn't want anybody to think I was fussy about it, but I just didn't respond at all. And then another person in the group took my logo and used it on their stuff. And so
in a good way or not?
Well, without permission, right? They didn't ask if they could make an event with my logo.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it wasn't. But it was, so I dealt with it, and it was fine, and it wasn't any big drama or anything, but it was the opportunity to see. One person said, I really don't like this. This is inappropriate. And one person liked it so much they used it.
They stole it. They stole it.
They did. But the group, the admins for the group, like, took care. All I had to do was kind of say to them, hey, and they went, oh no. And it was dealt with easily, no drama. It was fine. But it was the dichotomy of one person hated it and one person liked it so much they stole it. So,
well, that's what's going on in the world right now.
Right.
The collective
And it's all
thing.
consciousness too, right? It's all vibration. It's all what it is.
It's all good.
Right.
All right. So Lori, we didn't really touch on your topic of relevancy, and it's 10 o'clock. So we can do that. I'm happy to stick around. Did you want to just kind of talk about it?
I think I made my point when I said I look forward to your emails weekly because there's something I want and I need in it. Yeah. So it's meeting a need. And if Cheryl or John or Liz, Lynn, anybody can have that going for them, if there's something so amazingly important in there, great. It's hard for somebody to come up with that twice a week. So that's so amazing that you need. I get that link because it's easy for me. It makes joining this group really easy. So the first one I get the day before, I open it and I see what the topic is, make sure, I'm on board, or I'm not going to the dentist or whatever. And then I know an hour before it happens that I'm going to get that email. Speaking of which, I received 2 emails, nobody in this group, from people saying, I can't make it next week, but would you please still send me a free book? Now, the deal wasn't that, and so I'm not answering, I'm ignoring it. And if you live in the continental United States and you're here next week and you give me your address, you will get a signed copy of the business.
Oh, okay. So this is, all right, so I forgot. Not everyone knows this, Lori. So come to Lori's meeting presentation next week. You have to be present.
Yeah.
She's going to send you a copy of her book, which I happen to already have.
And it's awesome.
I think you'll love it. So hopefully you can make it, and you get it in, because it cost me $23 to ship it overseas, and so it's for people who live in the continental United States. But
sorry, John. Sorry, Penny.
Yeah.
If your name was John, it would be different.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to next week. And again, I would ask you if there's something, based on something that you're curious about me business-wise, have those questions. And I'm hoping for a rapid fire bang, 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 bang. And again, have a pencil and paper ready, because at the beginning, I'm going to make like 3 bold statements, and then I'm going to have 3 questions and give you a moment to think about writing down your answers. And then I want rapid fire questions.
All right, Lori. If no one shows up, I will give it to you, baby. All right, you guys, I got to go. I drank too much coffee. Nature calls. So grateful for all of you to show up here today. Looking forward to Lori next week. And have a great week, you guys.